Downpipe back with yet another video, and today marks the 1 year mark that I actually bought this vehicle. Yes, 1 year ago today I bought this car, and this is just going to be my overview of it, the pros, cons, what I've done to it, what I've dealt with, and just basically an overview of my year-long ownership of my 2002 Subaru WRX. Now I'm going to be starting this video inside the car because right now it is obnoxiously windy outside and I don't really want wind noise, so I'm going to be going through the pros and cons of this car, and then later on, probably tomorrow, I'm going to be showing you guys the outside and everything that I've done to the vehicle. But as of right now, the pros and cons of it, I'm going to be starting with the cons. Probably the biggest con is there's always something you need to be fixing with Subarus alone. Subarus are known to be breaking all the time, and I have been dealing with that ever since I bought the car. There's just been one thing after another, and it really feels like you're not done fixing the car because there's just one more thing that goes wrong with it. So that's probably the biggest con of this vehicle. And another thing that's kind of really been bugging me, I know it's a little nitpicky thing to be, complaining about, but the interior of this car just doesn't feel like the utmost quality. And I'm going to be referring to my brother's Evo 8 because a lot of people are going to be angry that I'm complaining about 2002 interior, what do I expect, this and that. But my brother's 2003 Evo 8, that interior is obnoxiously like quality. I feel like personally the quality in that is 10 times better than what it is in this. And that goes with the speakers and radio as well. With my brother's Evo, the audio quality in that is so much better than what it is in this. And the speakers are going out in this, and the radio just feels clunky and junky. And, hate me if you want for complaining about a 2002 radio. But this is just a couple things that I want to point out. If you are looking to buy a 2002 WRX, these are just some things that you will have to deal with. Still moving on with the interior, it seems like this car always just makes a noise. And I've learned to deal with it and not to worry as much as I own this car, but there's always some sort of creak, some sort of just little rattling, just something that just annoys you. It's not something bad, but it's just there to annoy you, and it's just, I don't know what it is. But Subaru did not do a good job with this interior on this vehicle. Probably the final bad thing on this car is obviously the transmission. The transmission in this isn't as bad as some people, make the WRX transmission out to be, but I'm always constantly worrying on if it'll hold up, when it's gonna break, this and that. But, some people say the WRX transmission's all mushy and, they don't feel like confident when they're going into gears. And personally, I've never had that, experience happen. I'm always confident going into gears. And I'm not saying that it's super notchy and super direct, but I'm saying personally, I don't feel like I have to worry about which gear I am going in. All right, since we're done with all the bad things, moving on to the positive and pros of this car. And the first one I want to start off with is the power in this thing. The power for a 2002 car is pretty shocking to me. Now, I'm not saying it's the fastest thing around. There's obviously faster cars around, but if you want a cheap 4-cylinder turbocharged car, this would be a top contender in my book. And another pro about this car is the suspension and handling in this, and it could be just because I came from, Jeeps and trucks, but the handling in this car, it just feels planted. Now, obviously, you can't whip it into a 90-degree turn at 60 miles an hour, but for a stock car back in 2002, this car just feels really direct and just planted to the ground. And another pro about this car, and this could be taken both ways, either a pro or a con, but the attention this thing gets is astounding for a stock car. People of all ages will turn their heads and break their necks just to look at this car, and personally it makes me feel really proud that I own a car that people actually want to look at. And I just don't really think about how iconic or how good this car looks because I've owned it for so long and I've been looking at it for a year now, so I just don't understand the attention that it gets outside of, owning it. I hope that made sense. I really hope that made sense. I don't think it made sense in my mind, but hopefully it made sense to you guys. All in all, I am really happy with this car. It's been my introductions, if you will, with the car enthusiast world. It taught me how to work on your car, how to fix your car, how to mod your car, and it's basically become the face of my channel, and I'm honestly so happy and proud to be owning this car. And I know I give Subarus a lot of flack. I know I give this car a lot of hate, but I really don't think I'm gonna sell this car just because I have a lot of plans that I want to do with this car, and I keep it for as long as possible, regardless of the fact that, you know, this car just gives me so many headaches at some point. I know I use clickbait titles and hint about me selling the car, but in all actuality, I'm probably never gonna sell this car. So that concludes the interior portion of this video. For me, I'm gonna be recording tomorrow, but for you guys, it's just gonna be the next clip. So let's move right on to the exterior. All right, moving on to the mods and things that I fixed with this car. Now I'm going to be starting off with the things I fixed first, and then I'm going to be moving on to the mods second. Hopefully I can do this in one clip and as quick as possible, because I feel like you guys don't want to sit there and listen to me talk about what I fixed. But everything that I've done with this car will be linked down in the description below if you guys want to check it out. But anyway, moving on to the engine bay. Now when I went to look at this car for the very first time, the stock turbo coolant reservoir was leaking from the neck. I since then replaced it with an aftermarket Mishimoto one, and all these coolant lines, this one, this one, this one, and this one, ended up rupturing or leaking in some sort of way. Had to replace them. The valve cover gaskets, both sides, were leaking oil. The guy said he took it to a garage and the garage quote fixed them, but it ended up leaking again. Fixed them myself, and they haven't leaked since. Now the O2 sensors in this car are my fault because of all the mods I put on, and I don't have a tune. I know, hate me. But the front O2 sensor went out, had to replace that, and the back O2 sensor, I ended up doing a little trick, a little hack to make the code go away, and it did work. Trust me, it did work. Anyway, moving on to the back rear brake assembly. Now I know I didn't talk about this, and I don't know why, but hopefully you guys can see. Probably a little dark. It is a little dark on camera, and I apologize for that. But this back rear brake assembly, I ended up replacing the whole entire thing, mainly because in wintertime I did some snow drifting. Probably wasn't the smartest idea, and I ended up warping the rotor, but at the time I didn't know what was wrong, so I ended up replacing every single brake assembly part. Anyway, it was expensive, but I believe that is it for the things that I fixed. Other than the small little things that happened recently, those are the things that I fixed on this car. Moving on to the mods. In the engine bay, as you can see, I have a Perrin short ram intake. Highly recommend this. Makes awesome sounds, and it did give me a little more power on the bottom end, which I'm really happy about. But the thing that gave me probably the most power without a tune is this Invidia downpipe. I ended up putting the Invidia downpipe shortly after I put the Perrin intake on, and I also have an Invidia N1 catback exhaust. So this whole car has a full 3-inch exhaust system from the turbo back. I do have the cat on the downpipe simply because I need it to pass PA inspections. But moving on to the back end, I replaced the 2002 bug-eye taillights with 2004, 2005 STI taillights. And if you are going to do this conversion, you have to know that if you are going to get these taillights, you have to get the bumper with it, simply because this little divot, if you have the stock 2002 bumper, it's not going to fit. This bubble is the reason why it won't fit. So if you're going to do these taillights, you have to get the bumper as well. And the last thing that I did with this car is I put an STI hood scoop on it, and that's it. I believe that is all the mods, all the things I fixed on this car in 1 year. I think I'm more happy that I did that portion in one take more than anything. But anyways, guys, like I said earlier in the video, this car I'm probably just never gonna sell. I'm so happy where it came in a year. I'm happy where it might go in a year. Who knows what's gonna happen? Who knows what mods we're gonna put on this? But I hope you guys are excited. Anyway, that is gonna conclude this video. If you are new to my channel, make sure you subscribe. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a like. And as always, guys, I'll see each and every one of you in my next upload.